In an effort to accommodate all our listeners, we are sending out a Wisdom on the Go morning devotional in English every Wednesday morning. This again is a Live Light production brought to you by Charl Botha. Today I want to share an obituary with you that was printed in the London Times, because I believe it is so very, very relevant to the world we are living in today. Today, we mourn the passing of a beloved old friend, Common Sense, who has been with us for many years. No one knows for sure how old he was, since his birth records were long ago lost in bureaucratic red tape. He will be remembered as having cultivated such valuable lessons as knowing when to come in and out of the rain, why the early bird gets the worm. Life isn't always fair, and maybe it was my fault. Common sense lived by simple, sound financial policies. Don't spend more than you can earn. And reliable strategies. Adults, not children, are in charge. His health began to deteriorate rapidly when well-intentioned but overbearing regulations were set in place. Reports of a 6-year-old boy charged with sexual harassment for kissing a classmate, teens suspended from school for using mouthwash after lunch, and a teacher fired for reprimanding an unruly student only worsened his condition. Common sense also lost ground when parents attacked teachers for doing the job that they themselves had failed to do in disciplining their unruly children. His health declined even further when schools were required to get parental consent to administer suntan lotion or an aspirin to a student, but could not inform parents when a student became pregnant and wanted to have an abortion. Common sense lost the will to live as the churches became businesses and criminals received better treatment than their victims. He also took a severe beating when you couldn't defend yourself from a burglar in your own home and the burglar could sue you for assault. Common sense finally gave up the will to live after a woman failed to realize that a steaming cup of coffee was hot. She spilled a little in her lap and was promptly awarded a huge settlement. Common sense was preceded in death by his parents, truth and trust, by his wife, discretion, by his daughter, responsibility, and by his son, reason. He is survived by his 5 stepbrothers. I know my rights. I want it now. Someone else is to blame. I'm a victim. Pay me for doing nothing. Not many attended his funeral because so very few realized he was gone. When Adam was confronted by God after they have sinned in regard to the eating of the apple, man developed that Eve's finger. He pointed at Eve and said, "It was this wife that you have given me. She is to blame." And ever since then, everyone and everything around us is to blame for all the problems we are experiencing today. I usually tell people, life begins the day you accept responsibility for your own life. And that includes putting away that Eve's blaming finger which are pointing to all the people around you and the world around you. It also implies focusing on how can I make the world a better place today? How can I be the difference God wants me to be in other people's lives today? To make the decision to focus today on the positive and not the doom and gloom around us, because God is still in control and He wants us to be the change agents in this life we're living. That's why He has said in Matthew 5 that we are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Just a tiny pinch of salt makes a huge difference in the food we are preparing. A small little lamp gives light to a whole room, and drives out all the darkness. And like a city on a hill, people must be able to see our light from afar. Like in Lazarus' case, I believe that Jesus is also wanting to call common sense to life again. But then we must trust Jesus to show us by His Spirit how to keep His truth and common sense alive. Be blessed and go and be the difference that God intended you to be in this world.